evening everyone, a bit of an impromptu video. A couple of people messaged saying, are we doing a video tonight? And I wanted to, but Gonzo's busy. Gonzo's helping his sister move house or something. So we were going to do one tomorrow night. We still are, but I'll get onto that at the very end and tell you what we're doing tomorrow night. But it's getting a bit tricky to keep up with all this manager rumour stuff. But I've been doing my best to keep up with everything. It's just starting to annoy me a little bit. So I thought I'll tell you the latest. This it's 9:15 on Sunday evening. This is the latest rumours I'm giving you. I'm not going to go into my opinions on the managers. I might give you my opinions on the rumours, if that makes sense. But anyway, stick with me. But before I get into it, the video is sponsored by One Football. Links in description. So if Pellegrini does get the sack, you'll get a notification through your phone saying Pellegrini has got the boot. Keep up to date with all your latest West Ham news. The app is free, which is the most important thing for me, being Scottish. I'm not paying. The links in the description. Get downloading it and keep up to date with all your West Ham news. But anyway, let's start with the very first one, which is Pellegrini, our current manager. He still is our current manager. Now, I'm not being convinced that we're going to sack him. Not being convinced we're going to pay the money. My opinion on that is starting to change a little bit. I'm getting the vibe he's a dead man walking. I think we have been speaking to other managers. We've been certainly putting the feelers out at the minimum, I think. So I think his days are numbered. I think there's maybe a belief that if the new man comes in, he's probably going to get beat at Stamford Bridge. So just like Pellegrini get beat at Stamford Bridge, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the idea is behind it. Perhaps if we get someone lined up, we'll pull the trigger, and until then, it's we'll just keep Pellegrini in there. Personally, I think just get rid of him now and let Steve Potts or someone take over the first team, give them Stamford Bridge, because we've also got Wolves next Wednesday. The 4th of December, we've got Wolves as well. So even if you were to pull the trigger after Chelsea, the new guys probably got one training session, maybe 2 training sessions before the Wolves game. So I'd almost give somebody the job of those 2 games and let the new guy have the Arsenal one. But anyway, that's the latest with Pellegrini. He's still here, and it's believed that he's going to be in charge at Stamford Bridge, but his days are looking numbered. But this is where it gets a bit complicated for me. What if he wins against Chelsea? I know it is very unlikely. I know you're all laughing. There's no chance. I'm aware of that, okay? Trust me, I don't think we're going to win at Stamford Bridge. But let's say a miracle happened and we won at Chelsea. That creates a bigger issue almost. That almost puts us in a bigger predicament than we are in right now. Because right now it's quite clear. We're struggling. We're losing. The manager has to go. So what happens if we win against Chelsea? You can't sack him then, can you? Then you've got to keep him. All this stuff that's going on behind the scenes is almost pointless unless you pull the trigger. You're not going to pull the trigger if we win. So they're almost gambling that we're going to lose at Chelsea. It's a pretty safe bet. Okay, I've got a bookies thing up on my screen right now, but that's just for the manager thing. If I was to go there and look at the odds for Chelsea on Saturday, they're probably 1-6 for a reason at Banker. But anyway, let's go on to the rumours now. That's what you're here for. You want the juicy stuff. You know Pellegrini's a dead man walking. That's obvious. You want the juicy stuff. So I've got the Sky Bet thing on my screen now. This is a little bit different. I've not done it before. That's the live odds. You can't see the odds. It's too big for the screen. But if it changes during the video, you'll know why. So Rafa Benitez is the favourite right now. The latest with him, the latest rumour is that we've actually approached China. We've gone to his club, Yellowfang, I think his name is. He's struggling over there a bit, Rafa. He's not gone too well because he obviously doesn't know the language, and he's struggling through interpreters. He's struggling to get his tactics across to his players. And it sounds like he's not enjoying China life too much. Who'd have thought it? Who'd have thought that? But to get him out of his China contract is big money, and we're talking over £10 million, I think, to get him out of China. These are just rumours. This is not in the know stuff. This is just rumours. You want in the know stuff, you're in the wrong place. This is just rumours. But it's big money to get Rafa out of China. Their season, though, this is where it gets interesting. The Chinese season, I believe, finishes soon. I think they've got another couple of weeks to go and then it finishes. So arguably, Rafa then goes into sort of like end of season mode. Does he become gettable? I think he is. I think Rafa is gettable. If you pay the compensation, and that's the problem, the compensation is an absolute monster to get him out. And then when you add on top of what it costs to get rid of Pellegrini, all of a sudden you're looking at over £20 million all in to do that one transaction. So I think he's favourite because I think it's the obvious one. I think if Sullivan could pick any manager in the world of football right now, I think he would pick Rafa Benitez. So I can see why he's the favourite. It makes sense. But I just think, unless something happens in China with Rafa, I don't think we'll be getting him. I'm going to go away from the managers in a minute. I see a story earlier. It was in the Guardian. It was in the Guardian saying, we want these few managers. But it said, we're maybe going to give Pellegrini time because they believe that if Fabianski comes back in, results will improve. That scares me a little bit. It also contradicts everything. How can you approach managers? How can you go after new managers? Not as admitting you've got a problem with your current one, and then say, but if we had Fabianski, things would be okay. I think things would be slightly better, but if you're conceding 19 shots a game with Roberto in goal, with Fabianski in goal, you're still going to concede 19 shots per game. But anyway, back to the manager stuff. So that's Rafa. Next on the list at the minute, second favourite is Chris Hughton. Now, if you watched this channel regularly a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago maybe, I said the two names I knew would come up. One of them, and this was the one I thought would be our favourite, is Chris Hughton. He was 14-1 earlier today. He was 14-1. The reason I know that because I've had a bet on it. But Chris Hughton is now what, 5-2? Okay, so he's shortening up Chris Hughton big time. It just ticks the boxes for me. No, this is not. Whoa, this is not who I want. This ticks David Sullivan. I think David Sullivan now wants Premier League experience, and this is if you look at the top 4 or 5 managers in there, the bet in there, they've all got Premier League experience. Okay, so I think that's essential. He's cheap. He doesn't have a club. He knows West Ham. He used to play for West Ham. He's British. Well, he's Irish, but let's just count him as British. He's British. I think he ticks everything. He'll happily let Sullivan play the transfer guru, as Sullivan is probably eager to get his hands on again. I think Chris Hughton just ticks all the boxes for this. I think he's... I watched Goals on Sunday a couple of weeks ago. I say I watched it. I think I was doing my ironing, and it was on background noise. And they said to him, how come you've not gone back into management? He just said, I'm waiting. He said, I've had a couple of offers. I'm not going to say who, out of respect to those clubs, but they weren't for me. I'm waiting for the right club to come along. I think he would see West Ham as a good opportunity. I think Chris Hughton would be very interested in the job. If Pellegrini went tomorrow, I would expect Chris Hughton to rock up. I'd be surprised if it wasn't, and I'd be pleased if it wasn't, to be honest with you. But next on the list now, we've got Eddie Howe. Now, this is a funny one because it was an ex-West Ham employee that put this one out earlier, saying Eddie Howe is interested in the job. Now, Gonzo's touched on this a couple of times on other videos, and I agree with Gonzo on this. I don't see why Eddie Howe would be interested in West Ham. Why? I struggle to think of any reason, actually. Any reason. Because squad-wise, they're very, very similar. We've got some better players in certain positions. They've got better players in certain positions. You were run through it. Fabianski would get in. Ake is probably the better centre-back out of both squads combined. Billing, Cook, you'd argue they could get into our team. Then you've got their wingers, they've got Brooks and Fraser, Cal Wilson up front. So if you were to combine the two squads, it'd be equal. So it's a better squad. In terms of potential, I don't think in the next 2 or 3 years, I don't think we've got any more potential than Bournemouth do. Transfers, he gets to do what he wants at Bournemouth, doesn't he? He's got complete control over there. He's in charge of the whole club almost, Eddie Howe. The one thing that's going to change when Pellegrini goes, I think Usalos is also out the door, and I think David Sullivan will be taking back the transfer stuff. I mean, we've got transfer rumours. I'm keeping that for a show when myself and Gonzo, there's 3 or 4 transfer rumours come out in the last couple of weeks. They all smell of David Sullivan. It's almost like he's back in charge. He's just waiting to pull the trigger on Usalos. So Eddie Howe, I just don't see why he'd come to West Ham. People say salary, but I think if we were to come along and come in for him seriously, I think Bournemouth would pay more money. Bournemouth spend more money than we do. The last 5 years or whatever, Bournemouth have spent more money than West Ham. They spend more money consistently than us. So if they've got the transfer kitty money, $2 million a year or something extra for the manager, it's not that much. Okay, if you're going to spend $45 million, you're better off taking $2 million out of that and keeping the manager, aren't you? So that I just don't see why Eddie Howe would come to West Ham. Now this one I think is more achievable. The next one on the list is Sean Dyche. Now it's also sort of being bandied about today that Sean Dyche is also interested. Now while I don't believe that Sean Dyche is willingly put his hand up and said, yeah, I'll have the West Ham job when there isn't even a position available, and he'd be risking upsetting a very safe job for him, because he is safe at Burnley, just like Eddie Howe is at Bournemouth. They're safe, okay? I do think, though, I think Dyche is taking Burnley as far as he can, you know. I do believe that. I don't think Howe's taking Bournemouth as far as he can. I think Bournemouth can still go up a little bit more, whether it's the Cups or whether it's finishing in the top 8 or something. I think Bournemouth have got more to give. But with Burnley, I think Sean Dyche has done it all. He got them to 7. I don't think he's going to better that unless he wins a cup. And I'm not sure they will win a cup. So I can see why Dyche would be interested in the West Ham job, in all fairness. But there's a problem with this, and it's the same one as Rafa. Compensation. To get Howe or Dyche, you've got to pay Bournemouth or Burnley money, and it's probably going to be big money. Do you want to know how much Leicester went and got Brendan Rodgers from Celtic? Do you know how much they had to pay Celtic to get Brendan Rodgers? 8.8 million. They had to pay 9 million to get him out of Celtic, okay? I'd imagine it would be a similar fee to get either of those two managers out of Bournemouth and Burnley. And that becomes a problem, because when you add in Pellegrini's compensation, again, it's a £20 million transaction. We're getting told about how skint we are for January, so are they then going to pull out 20 million? I'm not convinced. I'm just not convinced. This is why I keep going back to Chris Hughton. The next on the list, I'm not going to discuss much more, but just in case you can't read it or you're only listening, it's Chris Wilder at Sheffield United. Again, same as the other two. Why would he leave a very comfortable job? He's got plenty more to give Sheffield United. I think he'll want to see it through, keep them up in the Premier League. Then you've got Steven Gerrard at Rangers. Would Gerrard take the first Premier League job to come up for him? Well, assuming that is. I don't think he will. Again, I think he will like to see the season at least through at Rangers, because they're challenging for the title up here. I think he could win the title this year. I think he'd like to do that. We know he's gunning for the Liverpool job once Klopp goes, but when's that going to be? We don't know, because Klopp's also very successful in it. So I do think Gerrard's got another club before Liverpool. Could it be West Ham? Possibly. Mark Hughes, well, it bloody better not be Mark Hughes. Pochettino, no chance. No chance. Pochettino has any job in world football right now. Bayern Munich need a new manager. He can have it if he wants. Carlo Ancelotti, I mean, possibly one of the most underrated managers in world football, in my opinion. He doesn't seem to get the same plaudits as Pep Guardiola does for some reason. But no chance. There's just no chance. So you almost have to concentrate and top that list. And by process of elimination, I am left with Chris Hughton. But there's another curveball coming up now. Curveball. And that is Everton are maybe sacking Silva tomorrow, okay? There's reports contradicting themselves here. There's some people with good links at Everton saying he's getting more time. They had a meeting Saturday straight after the game. They got beat by Norwich. They had their meeting, but he's basically got more time and it's minimal. But there's also reports suggesting that the under-23s tomorrow have been told not to go in for training because David Unsworth, who's the under-23s manager at Everton, is taking the first team training tomorrow. So we'll find out tomorrow which is true. This is a problem for West Ham for one reason. Don't worry, the favourite for the Everton job's David Moyes. So unlucky Everton. But this is where it gets interesting. Everton are a very, very comparable club to West Ham right now. We're both not doing as well as we could have. Our squads are better than where we are in the league. We've both got similar potential. They've probably got more money than we have to offer the manager. But I do think we're very, very similar football clubs at a very, very similar stage in our, what's the word, project? It's not really a project, is it? We're just sort of stumbling along. But this is where they have a big advantage over us, and it could cause problems. Eddie Howe, if he is genuinely open to leaving Bournemouth, Everton have got one up on us. He's an Everton fan. And this is why, if you do want Eddie Howe, West Ham do generally have Eddie Howe as their number one choice. They need to act fast, and they need to act faster than waiting to see what happens. Because if the Everton job comes up, you have to imagine that if us and Everton go for Eddie Howe, you have to imagine they'll pick the Everton one. He's an Evertonian, so they've already got one up on him. But all this, the reason I know all these rumours, not only because I'm keeping up with it, is because everything's getting leaked again. All this stuff's coming out. Now, I thought we'd have another week of limbo, manager limbo, and we still might, but it's becoming a bit more clearer. The blame game's gone, okay? They're not even bothering to blame anyone anymore. blame is done and dusted. Manager's job, okay? Your fault, Pellegrini. Blame is at his door and it's staying there. But it's now got on to, will he or won't he go? And it just feels very like half-hearted, okay? It's just half-hearted. You look at Spurs last week, very decisive, got rid of Pochettino, had Mourinho in, and now everyone knew Pochettino was unhappy, everyone knew there was something funny going on at Spurs, but there was a shock element when the news came out. There was no rumours Pochettino was going, okay? There was just no rumours Pochettino was going, and he was gone. Then Mourinho was in the next morning, bang, he was in. It was just very decisive, no leaks, nothing, done. With us, here we are, we now know our first 4 managerial targets, and I do believe, by the way, if we were to sack Pellegrini, those would be the names that would be in contention. And the leaks are coming out again, and this is just another part of the, almost like the game plan at West Ham. This concerns me more. This concerns me more than the results to an extent, because form is temporary, managers short term, but attitude, professionalism, behaviour, that's part of the culture of the football club. And form isn't, you're not going to go to Eddie Howe or Sean Dyche. They're not going to look at your form. They're not bothered by that. What they are going to look at, though, is the culture of the football club, the environment they're coming to working, and their leaks and stuff like that is part of what you're trying to offer them. So if you want to come work for us, you get undermined, you go through a rough patch, we'll be on the phone to our friends, putting out articles about how you're not doing very well, your transfers are crap, we'll do polls, we'll do some polls. Do you want him gone or not? We'll even do some polls about who we could get in to replace you while you're still here. Do you want the job? Because that's the culture, that's the environment that's been created at West Ham, and it's seeping out again this week. And I find that concerning more than anything, and more frustrating than anything at the minute, because the results can be fixed, but I just don't think the culture can, and that's the real frustrating thing. But anyway, that's it really. I just wanted to give you an update on the rumours around the managers. Again, I'm keeping my opinion out of this, because 1 or 2 managers on there I really don't want. There's 1 or 2 in there I wouldn't mind or would quite like, but I'll do a video on that if it looks like when Pellegrini goes. That's when we'll start doing the opinion pieces. But tomorrow night I'm going to do a video with Gonzo. Now it's going to be a late one, because Villa are playing Newcastle tomorrow night, and I want to watch it. I quite like watching football, so we're going to watch the football, and then we're going to do a video. So it'll be about 10 PM we go live. It's called Talk West Ham. We did one a few weeks ago when we had Chris Akabusi and Frankie on. Now, you guys listening right now, if you want to come on, you can. You don't have to do the video part. All we need is the audio from you. It's done through Skype. Email us, hammerschat@gmail.com. The email's below, and just put in the subject Talk West Ham. So tomorrow night we're going live at 10. We've already got one caller lined up who, you know, he's a popular fan among West Ham fans. So tomorrow night we'll be going live at 10, probably for about 45 minutes or something. So it's a chance for you guys to have your show. So join us tomorrow night, hopefully. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like on it. We'll try and keep you updated with the latest news, what's going on with Pellegrini. But it looks like he's going to be in charge at Stamford Bridge, according to the latest rumours. And I'll see you soon. Drop a like on the video, enjoyed it, subscribe if you're around here, and I'll catch you in a bit. Ta-da!